Robbie, are you disappointed in Manchester United today?
I am, because I'm a neutral and because I love football, I love proactive teams, and I like to see teams, find ways to win a game. I'm disappointed in it. I mean, it's interesting for a period of time, tactical, attack, movement versus, United. It's interesting, Rebecca, but it gets old for me. Just gets old for me. And United fans and Mourinho fans will absolutely appreciate that, and they'll be clapping in front of their TV screens right now, because that's what you get when Mourinho comes. 0-0 away at Anfield is a good point. I don't have to applaud that. I want more from United and make it a more entertaining game.
Are you with him, Carl?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm someone that on the spectrum sort of leans towards entertainment over results. And I get that I have that luxury, and Jose Mourinho has won many trophies leaning the other way. And what we learned today about Manchester United is they can be the team that Jose Mourinho needs them to be to try and go win titles. If you look at the titles he's won, always in the second season, just look at in England, it's a team that can open up, that can counter, that can be devastating in the attack. But it's also a team in big games that can sit back and have the composure, have the discipline to do something that's not aesthetically pleasing, but do something that gets points that matter.
Did you learn anything about Liverpool today?
Not really. I mean, clean sheet, but there was no real threat. One chance with Lukaku. They tried their best to find a way through, but it's not easy when a team comes so deep and with so many numbers determined to defend. It's not easy.
It's also not easy when Manchester United possess David De Gea. Let's take a look at the Stella Artois full-match stats. Well, that point means that Manchester United are tied with the team back in 1999, 2000 and in 2011-12 for 20 points. So their joint best start through 8 Premier League matches.
Based on what we've seen there, Manchester United go back to the top, courtesy of that point. But City, of course, are about to play at home against Stoke. We'll be watching that live very shortly. Liverpool, as you were. Oh, sorry, slipped into 6th. To come, all of that. I mentioned we're at City. Our third of 3 today takes us to Watford, where Arsenal play. Once again, I'm sorry we can't provide you with our usual goal service this weekend. The circumstances beyond our control, quite literally, because we're seeing a lot of our product pirated. And piracy, of course, is theft, and we cannot condone that. So at the moment, we're a little hamstrung. I'm just wondering if the fact that a lot of those players have spent a lot of time in aeroplanes travelling around the world this past fortnight?
Listen, I don't think there is any excuses. I think in the modern day game, players get back to the destination very quickly, enough time to recuperate and obviously prepared for matches. I tend to agree with Andy. I think it's been a big disappointment, certainly second half. I expected a lot more from Man United. You just look at the clips just before we went off air there. We see the interaction play between Lukaku and Martial and getting the shot off. I expect a lot more of that. Where all these players been playing, the first 7-8 games of the beginning of the season, you expect them to go out and express, and for some reason today that just didn't seem to click. Whether the manager says, hey, this is how I want it, this is how I'm going to do it, this is what this is why I play this system, and the players that he's played, obviously due to the fact that the injuries to Fellaini and Pogba, but I still think that Man United had enough in there to go and really take the game to Liverpool, and unfortunately they didn't do that. And for me, that is a big disappointment. And as Andy stated, not to even have an attempt and goal in the second half, that is pretty bad.
Chris, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Chris, do we compliment Mourinho on first-class game management, or do we criticise him for ruining what could have been a really good day for us?
He'll be ecstatic, no doubt. He will be ecstatic in that dressing room. His game plan, they done it to a T. It never crossed the halfway line. We were talking the fullbacks. Lukaku was isolated. He might as well sat here with us, Lukaku, second half, after a great effort in the first half. The amount of attempts on goal, I mean, I'm sitting next to a man here who would have more attempts on both those teams.
But can you blame Lukaku because the fact that the service hasn't been coming from the other players?
No,
so he could only do so much from that point of view.
So in some ways, if Mourinho's going to Anfield like that, he might as well not play Lukaku. He might as well play an extra midfielder or put Rashford there, who could just maybe counter-attack. Liverpool will be disappointed. They're not in a great place, and that's why it's even harder to take, because Liverpool's defence so far this season has been tested. and haven't passed anything with flying colours, and they'll be ecstatic with a 0-0, with a clean sheet. Sorry, and really, United will be happy.
If United are pleased, is there criticism due of Liverpool because they just weren't good enough to overcome the task that was set them?
To some extent, yes, because they had lots of passages of play, but their final pass, the final cross wasn't right. The final shot, not on target. They have to get better. They sorely missed Mane today, sorely missed him. Salah sort of faded, started off really, really well, but he faded as the game went on and eventually came off because maybe the travelling, he's scored a couple of goals for Egypt in the week. But Liverpool need to do more. Just looking at the table, they could actually be taken over by Burnley, by Stoke today, and they could be 9th or 10th by the end of this weekend's programme. So, at the minute, not good enough for Liverpool, but United, happy, haven't lost, and they keep going in a positive way.
Anything in this?
This is a Coutinho. You see, I think there is something in that, because I think Herrera, he's rash at most times. Watch him coming back into the box. See that leg, that left foot comes out. Keep your eye on his left foot coming across him. Just here. I think it's, Liverpool have every right to look and think that might have been a penalty. I think look at that, it's a daft challenge. Now, it might have been soft, but it wouldn't surprise me if Martin Atkinson had gone, penalty. It wouldn't, but...
The only other 2 talking points from this game came in the first half. One was a magnificent stop from David De Gea. The other, of course, the Lukaku chance at the other end. But he saved one recently at Old Trafford, Andy, point blank. I think conceded the following corner. Is that as good as we've seen from him? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's been amazing, and it's vitally important. And yet again, he's made a match-winning save for us once again. He's done this time and time again. I've seen him close up. I've seen him operated time and time again. He's, apart from a good shot stopper, but his reflex and his feet, he uses his feet. He makes a lot of saves with his feet, and so there's no surprise. But we needed this. But for me, this is the one. This is what United is all about. This 1 and 2 touches, interchanges, play here. And Lukaku at this point in time, you expect him, you fancy him because...
If you only get one chance in a game and you've cost 90 million, you've got to score, haven't you?
Well, and to him especially, because of the form that he's shown this season, you expect him to really, not just hit the target, but certainly to get the ball in the back of the net. And unfortunately, he didn't do it. But on his favourite left peg as well.
Doesn't he? He's about to hit it.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought he took maybe one more step than he had to. But listen, it's easy. As I've said to you, it's easy sitting here. But I thought he would score then. When the chance dropped to his foot, I thought he would score. For the reasons that Dwight said, confidence, the amount he scored already this season, I thought he'll find the net here. But listen, Mignolet stayed up big for a long time, made a good save.
Another clean sheet on the credit side. United will be happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, that unbeaten run extended a little bit more. Of course, I think, the players will be a little bit disappointed, certainly when they look at the stats and stuff. But from a manager point of view, he's probably thought, well, yeah, I would have taken 1 point at the beginning of this game. If we had gotten the 3 points, he would have been obviously over the moon. But knowing Mourinho and know how he sets up, that unbeaten run continue, and he's gone to a very difficult place in getting it.
Not the start we were hoping for, not the restart to the Premier League that we were hoping for.
Well, welcome to the programme. Let's talk about the game then at Anfield, which finished 0-0. Jermaine Genius is with us today, Tim Sherwood, Rachel Brown-Finnis, Chris Sutton and Paul Ince. The point takes Manchester United to the top. But Jurgen Klopp will be really frustrated, won't he? That was an opportunity gone begging to beat United and to put down their own marker a little bit.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. And I think when you think about the way Man United set up, especially for the first 25 minutes, you can understand that. Liverpool are going to come out fast out the traps. They're going to press high. So I can understand Man United playing, quite deep. But then after that, Liverpool, to be fair, were the better side and created enough chances to win the game. But I was talking to JJ before, and we all kind of get hepped up about Liverpool, Man United, massive game. It was disappointing. It was really a poor performance from mate. Listen, I mean, I'd be happy with a point. Don't get me wrong, not many teams would go to Anfield and get a result. But the way they just came out, especially after you were saying we're a better team this year, we're scoring goals, and they were poor for me. But a point's a great result for Mourinho.
Particularly when you bear in mind how poor Liverpool have been defensively, Rachel. It's surprising, isn't it, that Jose Mourinho didn't, at any stage, it seemed, want to try out that soft underbelly of Liverpool's defence.
Yeah, I mean, and that's... I mean, to be fair, United haven't been particularly massively free-scoring. They've really kind of pride themselves on being defensively strong, and they've proven that again today. One bonus, I suppose, from Klopp's team's performance was a clean sheet, which has been hard to come by. But, I mean, I suppose with Fellaini out, I mean, Mourinho went for his long, huge list of players that were injured, but I'm not reading a lot into that. He should have gone for it a little bit more, I think, today. But I think we'll go away, as Paul said, go away with a point from Liverpool. They're still top of the league.
He's got his desired outcome, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So, you know, we're all saying, well, you know, Manchester United didn't go for it. There was only one team trying to win the game, but ultimately he walks away with a point and he's happy with that.
You could see Klopp's face at the end, couldn't you, Tim? He was really frustrated because only one win in 7, one win in 8 now. That was an opportunity just to claw back a little bit of gap on the big four at the top.
It was a chance to lay down a marker to say that they're actually in this title race, because up to now I'd say they're not. You know, it's no disguising it, no matter how much he wants to laugh and smile about it. The fact is they've had a bad start to the season and it's not took them forward. You know, in my opinion, I think they've stood still. And this was a great chance. And from Man United's point of view, I think Rachel's now on the head. No Fellaini, no Pogba, no Bailey, even mentioned Rashford in his pre-match news conference, and Rashford was on the bench. He didn't want to win that game. He just didn't want to lose it, and he got what he wanted.
Yep, and it's October. If it were April and there were 4 or 5 points between him and whoever at the top, his attitude might be different, Mourinho. But in October, he thinks no need to chase it. It's probably not in his nature, is it?
Well, not in recent history. You wouldn't kind of say that. I don't think. We all here wasn't happy with the way Manchester United obviously set up.
You look really frustrated.
I am, well, purely and simply because I think that it's one of those situations where people look at it and go, it's a Mourinho masterclass. And it wasn't. They gave away opportunities to Liverpool. And from Liverpool's point of view, it's kind of the same old stuff that you're always talking about if you're a Liverpool fan or if you're in that dressing room, which is obviously, yes, 1 week it's we're defensively, not at it. Today they've sorted that out because they've not been tested. But the other end, they haven't got that one who can just get a scrappy goal. It's always got to be a worldie from Coutinho or a worldie from Firmino. They haven't got someone who's just going to get on the end of something, and that's exactly what they needed today. There's someone who stays in that 6-yard box, gets that tap in, and they win that game comfortably. So it's a frustrating day for Jurgen Klopp, I'd say.
Just one more on this. For all that we talk about, and they were much better today defensively to Liverpool, they might need a new goalkeeper, they need Virgil van Dijk or whatever. How much do they need just as much a 25-a-goal man up front? Or maybe even more than those other things?
Well, I think it's important because, I mean, we've been going on about the defence for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Liverpool be creating chances left, right and centre every week. 5, 6, 7 chances a game. So JJ's right, they need that. If you go through the big teams, like the Morata at Chelsea and Lukaku, they've all got Kane at Tottenham. They've all got that 25, 28 goal scorer a season. And if they can get that in their team, then they will be challenging the top 4.
Yeah. I think I'm frustrated, by the way, Pooga. Did you see Lukaku today? And what he had to do and the shift he had to put in for the team today. We're talking about a player who's been, is he going to get the golden boot or not?
Yeah.
He's not going to get the golden boot.
First touch in the 17th minute.
Mourinho's not going to worry about that, is he? No. Whether Lukaku's going to get the golden boot. He's worried about getting a result, that's it.
Of course, yeah. But he's lucky to get it.
He's got it. What does social media say after that 0-0 draw at Anfield? Here's Jules.
Well, on Twitter, Manchester United fans are talking about one man and one man only, David De Gea. Jonathan Schrager says, I never thought I'd see a Manchester United goalkeeper who could rival or even surpass Schmeichel. But De Gea is as near to the Great Dane as humanly possible. And Adam McCullough backs him up. He says, David De Gea, the best in the world.
Well, is he the best in the world? I mean, that save... I mean, those of us of a certain age, that's us two here, remember Pat Jennings saving with his legs so well. He's brilliant. I don't
remember that, Poogs. I don't remember that.
It was a brilliant save because it's not that he doesn't just stick his... I mean, his foot's in the right place, but he actually has to actively move his leg and coordinate it to make that save, and that's like a point-blank save. We've seen him do it before. It's not just that he sticks his foot out. He makes saves with his feet, slightly different. Top quality, best in the league this year, absolutely.
OK,